Welcome to another edition of Instagram Live, hosted by the CSE. This is a platform where we interview CEOs, CFOs, COOs, and all industry types that we meet from all around the world. I'm your host, Barrington Miller, Director of Listed Company Services, and today I'm waiting on Todd Shapiro, CEO of Red Light Holland. I'm here with Todd Shapiro, CEO of Red Light Holland. You may know him, have heard of him, from another life, from another pastime, hobby, job, the Todd Shapiro Show. Tell us a little bit about your background and how that led you to where you are today.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks again for having me, Barrington. And this is always amazing talking with you. And we're so grateful for the CSE, and we'll get into that in a moment. But yeah, my background is far away from the capital markets and taking companies public and running them. I'm originally from the media. And even that was sort of an interesting way on how I got involved. I was about 28 years old, 27 years old actually, and I was working for a heating and cooling company. And I was kind of upset and depressed and didn't know what I wanted to do for life. I was living in my buddy's basement apartment. And, I eventually applied to go to radio school at Seneca College, radio and TV. And because I'm so handsome, I always assumed I would end up in TV, and soon I realized I wasn't very handsome at all. And in fact, what I chose my stream into trying to get into radio because radio, at least, when I started doing it was like a very authentic, genuine medium and somewhere where you could truly be yourself right out of the gate. And that's how I am. I'm very candid, I'm very open, I'm very direct. And I like to have fun in life. Like I've always liked to have fun in life. So that kind of became more of a class clowny approach, which led to radio. And I was very successful, luckily, right out of the gate. I'm one of the blessed ones. I worked for, a sort of at the time, a controversial show, but actually at the time it wasn't really considered that way. We just sort of did our thing as having a lot of fun on the radio when I worked on The Edge and encouraged to be doing what we were doing, paid to do what we did, and sort of climbed the ladder from like a real intern, like literally intern, lowest of the rung, to what I'd like to think was, a mainstream co-host. I actually left that show before it left that station because I wanted to go and do stuff on my own. I sort of felt like 14 years had been enough. And then I went to do a show on Sirius XM. And that was lined up for me. And as of basically February, when I recently just quit, and I didn't quit because I wasn't still necessarily loving it anymore. I quit because I had a lot going on. And granted, there were anxieties that came with trying to perform every day on a high level, and having to have a new show day after day after day after day for 20 straight years is basically what I did it for. In the background, I was also raising money for this company, Red Light Holland. And next thing you know, I had $4 million to go and work with in this vision, this idea, and we'll talk about that in a moment, in the psychedelic sector. And I just felt like it was my duty and my responsibility to shareholders to be fully committed to dedicating all of my time, whether it's not with my kids and my wife, which would only be to Red Light Holland. So that's where I'm at.
Well, and somebody can vouch for it because one, I'm going to have to ask you to try and move a little less because I'm getting seasick going back and forth.
Okay, I'm going to stop moving.
No, just move slower.
Okay.
So I actually spoke with a gentleman before I came on here, and he said to name drop him after we get off the air. But one of the things he said, he's your largest investor for Red Light Holland, and the one thing that convinced him was your accessibility as a CEO, your availability, your enthusiasm.